Hi everyone, I'm Airier, and taking a look at Overly Sarcastic Productions, Miscellaneous Myths. There's going to be Tam Lin, Jorogumo, the Theogony, the Greek creation myth, and Hippolytus. I recognize a few of those as Greek, specifically because Greek was on the title. The rest of them, I think Tam Lin is either Welsh, Scottish, I was going to say Israeli. I really doubt that one. But something in the British Isles area. But I could also be completely wrong on that because I know I've heard the name, but I have no idea where I heard it or when context. Jorogumo, I think, is Japanese. Maybe. And, I mean, the rest, I think the Theogony I just know basic amounts about. So, other than Theogony, I'm kind of going into the dark on this, on all of it. And even then, Theogony, if it's anything to go by from all the other things I thought I knew going into this, I have no idea if that's going to be accurate or not. Because it hasn't been mentioned in FGO, and that has been an oddly enough, completely accurate indicator of me knowing anything in advance. I keep bringing it up because it keeps being relevant. And that's weird. More importantly, though, there's a link below to the original videos. Hit them up. Let's get started.
Halloween is awesome.
Halloween?
Oh, I know, candy and stuff, but I mostly mean the feel of it.
Okay, let's be completely honest here. Out of everything here, there is some defeat. Or, well, yeah, defeat is actually exactly accurate. Almond Joy. I've heard some people like them. It's called Stockholm Syndrome. It's terrible.
It's the turning point between summer and winter, a
So
time
is
when
this
brittle leaves drift down like crackling rain,
random
and the wind is
overstuffed
always
graveyard?
just a bit
Neat.
colder than you
Cool art,
expect it to
though.
be. Soft gray clouds and
Is this
whispers
one
in the
that
shadows
Red
and the
drew?
wind ripping through your hair and clothes.
Maybe.
Look, the season is my jam, all right? Now, historically, the time around Halloween has almost always
So is this a Halloween episode? Okay, I really have no idea what this is because I do not know anything about the Halloween traditions from this area of the world, if it's where I think it is.
demarcated a special time of year in almost any part of the world with a seasonal transition. Samhain and its corresponding spring holiday Beltane were both considered times when Fae and other such spirits could more easily slip into our world and cause problems.
So it might be Irish then. Ooh.
Outside the Gaelic mythosphere, All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day also happen in that general time frame. Holidays when saints and the dead are specially celebrated and mourned. Dia de los Muertos.
Is she playing? Yeah, I think that's Nightmare Before Christmas in the background. Oh, jeez.
A Mexican holiday,
Halloween
which used to
indeed.
be celebrated at the beginning of summer, has been retroactively associated with All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day, and
Really?
bumped up to the general
Retroactive?
time frame of Halloween as well. Bottom
Oh.
line, a lot of people see Halloween as a time when spirits, ghosts, fairies, and other such otherworldly entities get the opportunity for some special.
Okay, gonna be completely honest. I, for some reason, recognize these characters, but I have no idea why. It's gonna bug me. So if anyone knows in the comments, let me know.
Attention. So it's no surprise that there are some folk tales with that exact premise. The most famous of them comes out of Scotland, which has given us a gloriously
Scotland?
eerie folk tale taking place in the exact context of Halloween's
not
magical
expecting
liminal
that.
time. This is the story of Tam Lin. So our story begins with a dire warning. We are informed that maidens should never go through the woods of Carterhaugh, or if they do go, they should make sure to leave a token of some kind, like a ring or a green cloak, because Carterhaugh
Oh, that's what those are. It's literally all the jewelry people left behind. Huh.
is haunted by
Cool.
the mysterious yet handsome and sensitive Tam Lin, and should an enterprising maiden pass through the woods
Oh, Tam Lin is the Fae. Ooh, so it's the story about the Fae. Okay, she was kind of leaning into that, talking about the spirits, but okay, that makes a lot more sense.
without leaving him a souvenir, he'll take her virginity instead. This is when we're introduced to our spunky heroine,
Okay, so you either put a ring on it or... Ah! Oh, there are so many jokes I could make here, and there's probably an entire segment of the internet dedicated to exactly what I would be joking about. Unironically, though, I won't mention it because I know YouTube standards and this would not be it.
Bonnie Janet, who enters the story when she hikes up her skirts, does her hair up all fancy, and strolls on into Carterhaugh like she owns the place. As it turns out, this is
Asking
because
for a
Janet
date?
actually does own the place. Her dad owns the surrounding lands and has given the woods to her. She plucks
Oh.
a double-headed rose, and Tam Lin appears all magical, like, "What are you doing
hi.
in my haunted glen at this time of night? Don't you know the stories?" And Janet's all, "Oh, gee, looks like I left my rings and cloak at home. Well, I'm sure I can think of something to offer you."
Oh my god, it was literally like, oh no, how horrible. Whoops, I forgot. I'm liking this story already. Also, the sheer smug on her face and him just going like, what?
Look, you're cute, and everyone at my dad's castle is, like, super old. So Janet and Tam Lin do what young, attractive singles do, and then Janet heads home. It soon becomes clear that she's rather predictably gotten pregnant. Her father asks her which of his knights is responsible for this, and Janet's like, "Hey, nobody's responsible for this baby but me." And also my elf boyfriend who lives in the woods. So she runs back to Carter Hall and contemplates using an herbal plan B, but then Tam Lin's like, whoa, before you do anything like that, let me tell you my tragic backstory. See, Tam Lin isn't actually an elf or a fairy. He's human. But one day...
Was actually surprised about that. Usually when you get to this kind of... I guess the ghostly aspect about it would make them more... actually a ghost then.
When he was out riding, he fell off his horse straight into the arms of the Queen of the Fairies, who took him into the hill where the Fae lived. Now, it's nice consorting with the Queen of the Fae.
Wait. Here is it. Relax, of course we'll pay. Work through your daddy issues on your own time, man. Oh,
but unfortunately for Tam Lin, the Fae have something of a septennial responsibility. Every 7 years on Halloween, they have to pay a tithe to hell. The Fae don't really like sacrificing one of their own, so they prefer to sacrifice humans when they have them. And Tam Lin worries that this year he's set to be sacrificed. And also Halloween is today, while Janet is having none of it.
Guess again, we are figuring this out now. Okay, I'm actually really liking this, that the spunky lady who decided to do exactly what she wanted is the one taking advantage of the situation. I could see why Red would really like this story.
And with the help of Tam Lin's insider information, they come up with a plan by which she can rescue him and conveniently avoid winding up as a single mother. So at midnight, Janet sneaks out, camouflaged from fairy eyes in a green cloak. She watches the fairy...
So that's why she gave them the green glow, to show that they're all just blending in. That's why talking about the green cloak matters here. Now, whether that's actually in the myth or not, it doesn't matter, because the visual aspect of how they're animating it does. That's actually really neat to see in hindsight.
Procession spots Tam Lin's horse and leaps out to pull him out of the saddle. The Queen of the Fairies responds by transforming Tam Lin into respectively a lizard, a snake, a bear, a lion, a chunk of red-hot iron, and finally an actual fire.
They can do iron? That's actually a little surprising. She's going to transform me into an array of dangerous, scary things, but I can never hurt you. You'll just need to keep holding on. Don't worry, I'm very determined, hugger. Oh my God. I just love all the sass on this.
Fortunately, Janet was prepared for this, and Tam Lin had previously told her that, as her baby daddy, there's no way he could hurt her, no matter what form he takes. So she refuses to let go, except to dump Fire Tam Lin in a well, at which point he attains his final transformation, Tam Lin but naked. Janet bundles him up in a cloak, and the Queen of the Fairies...
Good job, girl. I hope you're very happy together. But, oh, she's okay with it? Oh.
Angrily concedes defeat, though she does tell Tam Lin that if she'd known he'd end up like this, in a relationship with a mortal woman, she would have started off their relationship by petrifying his eyeballs. That is...
On the one hand, that's the kindest Fae I've ever seen. On the other hand, the fact that she didn't just petrify his eyeballs as redemption, recompense, a final fuck you, is also making her the nicest interpretation of a Fae I've seen from this area of the world that isn't extremely sugary. There's two types of elves, Fae, whatever. And I do mean whatever in that. It's either the cute and happy ones who just do good, or it's the, oh shit, you fucked up for even knowing they exist and having any interaction. Good or bad, it's going to be bad. Helping you is as bad as trying to hurt you. This one ended up going vicious, but not fucking him over. And the video's not over yet, though, so I could be wrong.
Is a red flag if ever I saw one.
Yes. So other than being very surprised that there was a happy ending, because I didn't realize many myths had that. I mean, there's a few we've seen, especially that Red has covered, but it's usually rare, so neat. Moving on, we're going to be doing Jorogumo, which I probably am mispronouncing because otherwise, though, I think it has something to do with spiders. Yeah, that probably won't creep me out too much. I say while I'm completely lying about that.
I will never be able to convince myself that cryptids like Bigfoot or Nessie are anything but modern-day fairy tales. Oh, you saw Mothman out back of a 7-Eleven and you ate your favorite socks? Bonnie Janet saw...
She just referenced that and they're bringing it up here. Also, the fairy tale thing, I thought the Mothman was initially created because there was a contest to create fairy... No, wait. That was actually earlier. The Mothman came later. The ones that we were intentionally creating fairy tales about was not Rumpelstiltskin, Rip Van Winkle. That was actually an intentional point to create a mythos for America. And I think it was actually put out as a call for people to write stories and then printed in journals or magazines at the time. Periodicals? I don't remember the format, but that actually was a thing where people intentionally did that. Oddly enough, Slenderman was also in that category, just a much more recent one. It was intentionally created as an urban legend, knowing it was an urban legend initially, and then people got creepy and actually started killing for it. Yeah, don't look it up. It's disturbing.
saw the Queen of the Fairies out in Carterhaw Forest and she stole her second favorite boyfriend. The Emperor of Japan was knocked out by moon men, but they left him with the secret to eternal life.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, regional folklore is pretty much formatted the same worldwide. It's not like urban legends about humanoid monsters or a new concept on the global stage. But I'd say, despite their universality, Japan is my #1 pick for crazy regional cryptid legends,
Really?
since they've got so many of them and they're all so specific. You know, there's one about one specific rock that was possessed by a malevolent kitsune and killed everyone it touched. I
Yep.
love it. It's great. Now, the scene
And the funny thing about that, and how long ago was this? 5 years? I think sometime within that time period, that rock actually did split. So it would have been right before 2020. Let's not think about this too hard.
scenic Joran waterfall, found on the Izu Peninsula, is home to a particularly fun legend that centers on the Jorogumo, a murderous spider demon known for diversifying its villainous portfolio beyond the basic Shelob impersonator by
Yeah. Jorogumo, Maiden Spire, alternate Entangling Bride. Oh.
using its shape-shifting powers to pull part-time as a hot lady.
Actually, Shelob does that too.
What?
What?
No, I haven't played Shadow of War.
Shadow of
Well,
War?
that's stupid. Tolkien's crippling arachnophobia did not die for this. Now, Jorogumo was a yokai.
What? Oh, it's probably a hot spider lady, and then I haven't played Shadow of War. I don't get the reference, but I'm assuming, considering the lady they brought up, yeah, they made the spider hot. I'm assuming transformations are involved, and it was creepy.
Yokai, which is broadly an umbrella term in Japanese folklore for weird, bewitching, and/or dangerous entities known to cause problems for people through various supernatural means, including shapeshifting, illusions, and occasionally good old-fashioned murder. It usually gets translated in English as demon for the sake of convenience, but the word has plenty of nuance that this translation doesn't really capture. For one thing, the Jorogumo's story isn't actually as predictable as you might expect from a whirlwind romance between an unsuspecting lumberjack and a shapeshifting spider monster with a habit of eating dudes. So, the Jorogumo makes her mythological debut at the Joran Falls when a local dude takes an ill-advised nap by her waterfall, and she responds by entangling his love in spider webs while he sleeps. The dude wakes up and, figuring he was just webbed up by a very confused water spider, transfers the webbing to a nearby tree trunk, but is shot.
Okay, I paused at the best possible time right there. But damn! Really good on Red, just making that transition right there. Just like the relaxing time, and then yoink!
Shocked when the tree is ripped out of the ground and dragged into the water by the webs. Upon
Time to
realizing
leave.
that the waterfall is being
Beware of
haunted by a monstrous
spiders.
spider that very nearly dragged this guy to a watery doom, the locals all start avoiding the waterfall like the plague, and also probably talking about how their cousin was totally abducted by Princess Kaguya one time. But one day, an out
Really? They probably... Yeah, sure, it's definitely Kaguya. Nothing by the waterfall at all.
of-towner woodcutter stops by to do some classic lumberly actions, and accidentally butterfingers his axe directly into the waterfall basin.
Oh, it's a lumberjack. I guess he's okay. He must work all night and sleep all day. I know that's not how it goes, but if you get the reference I'm making, I'm going to stop there for copyright reasons.
But before he resigns himself to a life empty and meaningless without his true calling of lumberjacking, a beautiful woman pops out of nowhere, hands his axe back to him, and disappears. Predictably enough, the woodcutter is very taken with this mysterious hot lady and returns to the waterfall every day to hang out with her. But the woodcutter starts physically wasting away the longer he spends with this mysterious, totally not a spider demon woman, and the local Buddhist priest starts getting concerned. So one day, the priest accompanies the woodcutter out to the waterfall to recite a couple spider-repellent sutras, and when a spider web whips out from the waterfall, the priest repels it with the power of Buddhism, I think. So now the woodcutter knows the hot lady he's been seeing is actually a Jorogumo, but surprisingly, this isn't a deal breaker for him, so we see.
Seriously? Wait, what did he say? That's why she gives such great hugs. Multiple limbs. I just love this face right here. The entire, I'm sorry, what? Yes, the priest has just found out what everyone now has to be aware of. The guy's into this shit. Oh my God. Just the sheer face of, I don't know what's just happening, and I'm kind of disturbed.
So he seeks out the head honcho yokai of the mountain, a tengu, which are bird-like yokai generally seen as protective but dangerous spirits whose reputation was historically a lot more malevolent, and asks the tengu for permission to marry the Jorogumo. But the tengu refuses, and the woodcutter is
Seriously, that's a terrible idea. There are less emotionally taxing ways to die.
understandably upset, but ultimately decides that while disappointing, this is the best outcome for everybody, and he returns home to psych. He charges directly into the waterfall, gets tangled up in spiderwebs, and disappears. Did his spider girlfriend eat him? Did they live happily ever after? Who knows?
Well, if you want a story with a definite unhappy ending, we've just tackled the tragic tale of Izanagi and Izanagi.
I feel like I'm missing context here.
Ame over on our channel.
How does everyone keep getting in here?
Oh, Zoe has level
Extra
100
credits?
lockpicking.
Oh, yeah, that
Trained
would
her
do it.
well.
Okay, Zoe's the cat burglar, and that
The cat. I don't. Kajit has wares from your house. Do you want to purchase them back?
would make you...
My name isn't important. It's Matt, by the way. Hi, huge fan. And if you're curious about how a romance can end worse than literally getting eaten by your spider spouse, come join us over around our campfire at Extra Credits' new series, Extra Mythology.
That does sound
How did they
interesting.
get this intro?
Throw in some s'mores and you've got a deal.
Ooh, who has the stomach for s'mores when you just talked about a giant man-eating spider?
Did somebody say s'mores?
Touche, my friend.
I hate the fact my initial thought is, okay, that sounds like a deal breaker, but also I kind of want it. I'm judging myself for actually wanting it. The s'mores. Definitely the s'mores.
Touche. Let's go.
And next up, we have the Greek creation myth, the Theogony. So my knowledge of this is chaos and I think Gaia were created, and then they had kids, the Titans, and the Titans created the Olympians, and then Jupiter ate Zeus, and things happened. Admittedly, I'm not actually simplifying my knowledge of this because that's more or less the extent of what I know. So if there's anything other than what I just said, it's completely new to me, and I'm hoping there's more. Because if that's actually accurate, I'll be very disappointed. I don't think I will, though, because frankly, FGO hasn't touched this, and like I said before, that seems to be the entire guiding principle of what actually is accurate. I keep bringing it up, it keeps being accurate, and it keeps surprising me. At some point, it'll stop. That point is not now.
You know how urban fantasy writers really like doing that all myths are true thing, so they try really hard to find some way to make sense of every world mythology being real all at once? And how sometimes it works okay, but sometimes it just comes across as really
Fables? I've heard of American Gods, but I haven't seen this one.
busy and incoherent? Well, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret about Greek mythology. Hesiod did it first. See,
What?
Greek mythology isn't internally consistent, because no mythology is, but that didn't stop Greek writers like Hesiod, a contemporary of Homer and one of the earliest sources we have, from trying to make consolidated narratives out of every random regional myth they could get their hands.
Interesting. So if he's a contemporary of Homer, that's when they were writing about Troy. That was in the I can't remember. There's two distinct periods in Greek history, and I'm spacing on the names of both, Hellenistic and whatever came before that, that is on the tip of my tongue and I cannot pull it out. So this would have been in the second generation, I guess. The Boruto of Greek dramas. You know, you ever say something you just regret? Yeah, I regret everything that just came out of my mouth. And I'm going to leave it in to punish myself for having ever even made that reference. I don't deserve forgiveness for that one. That was just bad.
Hands-on. In Hesiod's case, his efforts famously produced the Theogony, an attempt to outline the
Theogony?
genealogy
Oh, I was
of every
mispronouncing that.
single Greek god. I'm not talking the Big 12 here, I mean all of them. You
Oh.
want to know the names of all 50 Nereids?
Oh.
All 3,000 Oceanid nymphs? Well, Hesiod maybe can't
How
give you
many?
all 3,000,
wait,
but
how?
50 Nereids? All 3,000 Oceanid nymphs? Well, Hesiod
1,000? So there was probably multiple pages of just listing names. And considering how this period went, it was probably names and a title as well, at least at the minimum.
maybe can't give you all 3,000, but he's more than happy to rattle off 41 of them. Ever wonder what specific combination of
Still.
Titanic boinking produced the Oneiroi, the Ash Nymphs, the Hesperides? Well, don't you worry, Hesiod has it down.
It's literally the
Everyone's got a
Greek
place in
Genesis
the family
tree.
tree. Everyone. So yeah, on a scale of 1 to American Gods, Hesiod's ranking maybe a 3.5 on the actually making this interesting meter. That said, the Theogony is more than the world's most pompous flashcard set.
Oh, so it's literally the equivalent of the Greek Silmarillion. See, that's the reference I can make without feeling bad about it. It has a lot of information that's really interesting when seen in flashcards, and if you try and read it yourself, you end up defaulting to the flashcards because it really does help.
Actually making this interesting meter. That said, the Theogony is more than the world's most pompous flashcard set. Scattered haphazardly through its endless lists of meaningless names is a genuinely fascinating narrative of gods and monsters and the creation of the ancient Greek world we all know and love. So let's set aside the genealogical
Now, this is one of the things I'm interested about. Did he create that interpretation of how things came to be, or were those stories already there and he just compiled them with his own flair? I'm really hoping Red gets into that, but that might be more Blue's territory because I know he's more on the analytical side, except for when Red and Blue collaborate. Considering it's both other channels and a few other people, it probably should happen. It's probably something that has existed and it's probably been done. And if I'm wrong, just don't tell me. I want to believe it's out there and I'll eventually get to it.
aspect for now and focus on the fun part, the ancient Greek creation myth. So, in the beginning, there's nothing but chaos, a vague entity representing some sort of...
Oh my god, they actually did the textures missing image. God damn it, Red.
primordial emptiness pre-anything happening. But it's not alone for long, as soon enough Gaia, Tartarus, and Eros pop out.
Wait, Eros? Really? Huh. For some reason, and Tartarus, I had no idea about these two. I also thought he was much younger and not one of the original ones. Huh. Gaia I knew about. No idea who Tartarus is. Maybe it's a reference to the underworld in general?
Out of nowhere, representing the primordial earth, abyss, and existential concept of love, respectively. Chaos takes a cue and spoots out Erebos and Nyx, darkness and night, respectively, and then I guess goes and takes a nap because that's the last we hear of it forever. While Nyx and Erebos are off
Wait, that was all of it forever? Oh. Huh. And this Aether and Hemera?
bumping abstract concepts and creating the day-night cycle, Gaia crafts herself a partner, an equal and opposite in the form of Uranus, the sky to her Earth. The two of them promptly get busy and crank out 3 sets of siblings. First...
Wait, 3 sets? Ooh, I want to go back and read these. See if I recognize any of them. Thetis, Menosia. I'm not going to be able to pronounce this. Phoebe, Rhea, and Themis. I've heard some of these names. I do not know where they came from.
First 12.
The Gens, Cirrus, Oceanus, Hyperion. Ooh, I know the stories of the books written on that one. Kronos, time, and I'm not even going to try and say that one.
Titans, then 3 Cyclopses, and...
Wait, there was 3 Cyclopses? Oh, I didn't actually realize that. Considering I'm only really aware of the one from Jason's myth.
Finally, 3 Hecatoncheires. Ludicrous.
Whoa. A lot of heads and a lot of arms. Kotos, Gyges, and Brachios. Oh.
Powerful giants with 50 heads and 100 arms each. Now, the Titans, Cyclopses, and Hecatoncheires have their differences, but they're united in their complete and utter hatred of Uranus for seemingly no reason at first, although it rapidly becomes justified when Uranus takes to imprisoning his more monstrous-looking children in secret locations under the earth. Gaia gets fed up with Uranus' shenanigans and comes up with a plan.
Wait, what did she write? It's covering it up when I pause, so I have to do it one more time.
Monstrous-looking children in secret locations under the earth. Gaia gets fed up.
If he be responsible about his kids, or if he won't be responsible with his kids, he's not getting any more. Oh. Ah. She's literally pulling the I made you and I could take you out. Specifically parts of him. Ow.
Up with Uranus' shenanigans and comes up with a plan to knock him down a peg. She forges a sickle out of gray adamant and calls up her Titan children, asking them to help her take down Uranus so they can take his place ruling the universe. The Titans are a bit skittish, but the youngest, Kronos, Titan of the Harvest, accepts the task and ambushes...
Wait, Kronos was Harvest? Oh. So with a name like Kronos, I always thought it was more time-related, but I guess not. And Harvest coming after Gaia for life in general. Okay, makes sense.
Uranus, castrating him with the sickle. And in case you were wondering what happened to the balls, don't you worry.
What?
Hesiod's world-building rule is waste not, want not.
Seriously?
They fall into the ocean and start foaming, and from that foam arises none other than the radiant Aphrodite, who presumably spent the next few millennia showering with a 1,000-yard stare.
So she's literally built... Yeah, that would do it. Also defeats the point of saying, you want children? No more children for you if you're not going to be responsible. And then child. The fact that's the god of beauty, it's pretty fucked up. That's kind of on the nose. Well played. Enjoy your new universe, Titan.
So Kronos supplants Uranus, and Uranus officially dubs him and his siblings Titans, which apparently means stretchers, the idea being that they stretched beyond their means in order to overthrow him. So this is officially when the Titan
Welcome to the Titan Age.
Begins. Coincidentally, this is also around the time a whole bunch of death and destruction gods and classic monsters start popping out of the woodwork. So Kronos takes his sister Rhea as a wife, and they start cranking out kids. But Gaia and Uranus warn Kronos that he's...
Just a heads up, those are going to be a problem for you. Yeah.
Fated to be overthrown by one of his children. So as a safety precaution, Kronos swallows each of his children as soon as they're born.
Well, better safe than sorry. You'd think doing the horrible things to your kids would, I just realized literally every generation did that. Kronos did it to the Titans did it to Zeus. Zeus did it, well, actually Zeus did it to a few people, but mostly Hera did it to a lot of Zeus's kids, so it's not technically exactly the same. So they sort of learned. Yeah, at some point, you look at Athena and Artemis going, no kids, and think, you know what? They made the right choice.
Bit extreme, but I guess the god of safe contraceptive measures didn't exist yet. After losing Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon to Kronos' exceedingly inefficient air disposal method, Rhea asks Gaia and Uranus for help keeping her sixth kid, Zeus, alive. And Gaia—
Oh, really? Uranus was still in the picture? Oh, that's actually a little surprising. He was literally raised by his grandparents. Just cleaning up for you, dear.
Gaia spirits the baby away to a secret location in the mountains while Rhea replaces—
I just realized she warned him about having the downfall from his kids, and she's the one raising the kid to be his downfall. It almost seems like a self-fulfilling prophecy of, hey, remember how you did this stuff? Don't worry, you're up next. It's revenge for the thing I had you do.
places him with a blanket-covered rock. So young Zeus is raised in secret by Gaia, and somewhere along the line decides—
maybe I should be in charge of stuff. What a concept. It's not like I planned this. Am I the only one thinking that Gaia is kinda a master manipulator here? Because it kind of comes off that way. It might just be how Red is portraying it, but it does kind of feel that way.
the thing to do is supplant his father Kronos and take his place as ruler of the universe. So with the help of Metis, an Oceanid nymph with a serious talent for cunning plans, he slips Kronos a poison that causes him to throw up the kids he ate. Zeus, now allied with his 5 siblings, gives himself an additional edge by freeing the 3
I recognize that music in the background. Nightwish, nice.
Cyclopses from their prison, and in gratitude they forge him his lightning bolts. Zeus, now geared up with weapons and allies, rallies support from the frankly ridiculous number of minor gods running around at this point, and goes to war with the Titans. The conflict lasts for 10 straight years until
Try freeing the living siege weapons. They're not already free?
Gaia suggests that Zeus could maybe free the Hecatoncheires too, and it turns out the ridiculously strong 50-headed, 100-handed rock-chucking giants were exactly what he needed to turn the tables and finally overthrow.
Wait, they actually figured this out because they just started throwing rocks at him. Oh, wow. So, canonically, Titans defeated with rock. Oh, there's a joke in there somewhere. But it's too meta. Nah, I guess that'd be too metal. No, only if it's iron, but I don't want to iron that one out. I'm reaching, I know, but I'm sticking to it because it amuses me.
Kronos and his allies are thrown into Tartarus, and Zeus takes his place as king of the cosmos, after a short interlude where he, Poseidon, and Hades—
Sweet! Still better than the underworld. Why didn't we do this by seniority? Jeez, the short hair. Huh. And yeah, even here he's drawn younger, but he has just way more defined features, while these two still look more ethereal. I wonder if this was ever going to be referencing how initially he was the main god and Zeus was a minor god, because this is definitely the later period based on that mythology. Was there an earlier version that was completely different?
Hades draw lots to determine who exactly gets to lord over what bits of the universe. So Zeus marries Metis and she gets pregnant, but Zeus is warned by Gaia and Uranus that Metis is dead.
Just a heads up, this doesn't end well. Metis, the one that helped him. Ah! So it's literally the hero oh. No wonder Hera was always jealous. She's literally the second choice.
Destined to bear thoughtful children more cunning than Zeus. First a daughter, and then a son who will eventually overthrow him. Determined to stay super cool god emperor of everything forever,
Zeus ends up doing the dumb shit? Yeah.
reacts by eating Metis, but not in like a murder way, in like a subsuming her essence into himself so she can provide him with wisdom and advice kind of way. Is that better?
I should grow a beard. Hey, yeah.
Yeah, still a huge dick move. Also really ironic.
Yeah, every generation. I thought it would be different, but no. No, they all make the same thing. It's like people who want power, after they get it, want to keep power. I'm sure that wasn't the actual intent, but it does very much show that keep happening.
Ironic, considering Metis helped him overthrow Kronos by making him puke. Guess the lesson here is never do any favors for Zeus. In the meantime, Zeus marries Hera, and she has Ares and Hephaestus. Then he has a fling with Leto that produces Artemis and Apollo, and then one day Zeus develops an absolutely splitting headache. And when he responds extremely literally by actually splitting his head open to relieve the pressure, Metis' daughter Athena pops out of his forehead fully grown and ready to kick some ass. Turns out absorbing your pregnant wife can have unforeseen medical consequences.
Oh, so that's where she came from. Oops, I was aiming for the nose. Huh. I wonder if they ever separate. Also, I just realized she did change the art here, so it's mostly blue with gray, or gray with blue, where before he was mostly solid gray. Huh. I actually knew a bit about how Athena came to be just from the headache. I didn't realize it's because he literally merged himself with his first wife. And then ended up having to have a headache pregnancy. Oh, dear God. The words coming out of my mouth.
Ask your doctor if absorbing your pregnant spouse is right.
Oh, dear. What the?
Turns out absorbing your pregnant wife
Whoa,
can have
dear God,
unforeseen
Red.
medical consequences. Ask your doctor.
How the... Ask your doctor if absorbing your pregnant spouse is right for you. Do not absorb your pregnant spouse if you are already pregnant. Do not consume raw or undercooked fish or eggs after absorbing your pregnant spouse. Do not drink, smoke, or expose yourself to dyes or paints after absorbing your pregnant spouse. Side effects for absorbing your pregnant spouse may include migraines, dizziness, childbirth, weight gain, brain gain, nausea, heartburn, brain burn, guilty conscience. I don't think you ever had that one. Pantheon expansion, swollen ankles, decreased cranial integrity. His forethought definitely proves this one. Lethargy, symbolism, ominous prophecies, absorbing your children of pregnant spouse, 85% effective at presenting prophecy to overthrow by one's offspring. A person often meets their destiny on the road they took to avoid it.
Wife can have unforeseen medical consequences.
God.
Ask your doctor if absorbing your pregnant spouse is right for you. Side effects may include migraines, dizziness, and childbirth. Anyway, rounding out the
Yeah, she
Olympian
ripped out.
roster, Zeus has a fling with the Pleiad Maya, producing Hermes, and lastly, a complicated fling with the mortal Semele, producing the equally complicated Dionysus. Zeus, having successfully dodged the destiny of being supplanted by his own kid by learning the lessons of history that his father failed to internalize, proceeds to flagrantly bang his way across the entire Mediterranean, secure in the knowledge that this could literally never go badly for him.
Yeah, just randomly throwing in Kratos. Also, what did it say over here? I'm gonna go bang everything with less than 6 legs. I'm admittedly kind of surprised the less than 6 legs part is in there because I didn't realize that would be a problem for him. And just random Kronos sitting in the background. Or, yeah. No, Arana's just in the background. Thank you. Smarter than your dad.
Planted by his own kid by learning the lessons of history that his father failed to internalize, proceeds to flagrantly bang his way across the entire Mediterranean, secure in the knowledge that this could literally never go badly for him.
Did it actually ever go badly for him, though? Because I don't know if there's a Ragnarok-style myth surrounding that going badly for him. If there is, I'm completely unaware of it.
Ever. Nope. Zeus's divine down unders are a consequence-free zone. Except that one time where he had to specifically not bang Theogony.
Hey, what? No. That's not a good idea. We should really get you a normal human boy. What?
Just because she was fated to bear a son stronger than his father. But other than that, no worries, right? Seriously, why keep tempting fate? Just bag it up if ruling the cosmos is so important to you.
And moving on from further proof that every generation committed the exact same issues with the Greek gods, Titans, whatever the hell the first generation prior to the Titans was called. They all made the same mistake of, don't worry, you'll be replaced eventually, and then screwing it up. We're going to go on to Hippolytus, which I'm assuming it's also Greek. Beyond that, I have no idea, so I'm really looking forward to this.
To say that Artemis and Aphrodite don't always get
What?
along would be
Together?
something of an understatement. And it's hardly surprising from an analytical standpoint. They're symbolically antithetical to each
The
other,
hunt
one
and
representing
love and
love,
beauty,
sex,
yeah.
and beauty, the other virginity and badassitude. But beyond their natural rivalry with each
Oh, I am not good enough for you?
other,
Oh,
Aphrodite has specifically never been too keen on Artemis's hunters, mostly because of the whole no relationships thing. It's one thing for Artemis to be naturally contradictory to Aphrodite, but it's another thing entirely for mortals to choose Artemis over Aphrodite. And
Oh.
considering that this is a goddess who took the mere existence of a pretty girl personally, Aphrodite has an unsurprising tendency to be very petty when it comes to the hunters of Artemis. Like Hippolytus, for instance. Never heard of him? That's not too surprising. He's not a big-name hero like his father Theseus.
Wait, this is the son of Theseus? Really? Found in Athens, killed the Minotaur, lost his butt cheeks in Hades' size? Really? Oh, yeah, because he was ripped out and his butt stayed behind when his brother kept staying there because they tried to kidnap Persephone. Yeah, he kind of earned that one, actually.
Or just a big name like his mother Hippolyta. Now,
Oh.
Hippolytus is devoted
Wait, Hippolyta had... Oh, yeah, because Hippolyta was supposed to do that and they just retconned her being killed. Daughter of Ares, queen of the Amazons, banged Hercules and died. She got better.
Now, Hippolytus has devoted himself to
Huh. Normally, I just get girls. Is that a problem? No, just culturally interesting. Huh. That's... No wonder I haven't heard of him, because I was not expecting that, especially when they started talking about Artemis and I was going to say Athena for a second there, but no. Wow, I was going to say Venus. It's really Aphrodite. Why do I keep reading names? Technically, Venus is accurate, but that's the Roman version.
Artemis, choosing a life of hunting and no girlfriend over no hunting and yes girlfriend.
Huh.
This offends Aphrodite on principle,
How
who reacts with about
I'm sorry. I'm just getting so much drama queen energy just with that how dare underlined. Usually, no boyfriend either? Nah, who has the time? I feel that. Did Artemis actually have a fling with Orion, though? I'm only saying that because of FGO, and frankly, at this point, I'm just going to assume it's probably accurate.
as much restraint as we've come to expect from her, and she resolves to ruin his life for having the audacity to not be into girls. So Aphrodite's flawless plan progresses thusly. First, she uses her goddess magic to make Hippolytus' stepmom Phaedra fall in love with him. This makes Phaedra totally lovesick, and she
You know, I'd ask why they ever thought this was a good idea, but the Greek gods... So I've read this really fun Oedipus play. This is still only half as bad as a step. On the other hand...
tries to get Hippolytus to sleep with her,
Nope.
which he soundly refuses to do, because...
Bad choice.
And also... Well, Phaedra doesn't take this...
Dear, I need to kill your son. What, did he do something? Sure. But... I cannot read that. It's just a little blur on my side.
very well. So she goes to Theseus and tells him that Hippolytus, forced himself on her. In some versions, she actually kills herself first, and her suicide note carries the accusation instead.
Damn!
Either way, Theseus is outraged.
Father, I need you to kill my son for the crime of rape. Oh, crap. That's a crime now? I mean, sure. Oh, God, yeah. Because even though it's mostly Zeus, Poseidon is very much guilty of that. That has to be a very awkward conversation. It's like, wait, we kill people for that? On the one hand, good reaction. On the other hand, you might want to, double check first.
Raged and calls in a favor from his father Poseidon to have Hippolytus killed. Poseidon sends a sea monster to spook Hippolytus' horses, who subsequently drag him to his death. Now,
Damn.
that sucks, obviously. But the story doesn't actually end here.
It doesn't?
See, Hippolytus was lucky enough to get his very own historical cult. And as far as the cult's personal headcanon was concerned, no way in hell was Artemis letting one of her hunters die for something so stupid. So
Really? Whoa. Do they have cults dedicated to individual people who are explicitly not gods, or does that change?
Artemis calls in a favor from Asclepius, the doctor so good he could resurrect the dead, and makes him resurrect the dead, bringing Hippolytus back to life. Hooray!
Whoa. And that's where the staff came from. A lot of medical symbols involving the snake with the stick, so it's based on Asclepius' myth? Huh. I actually know very little about him. I know he's an FGO, but I don't know much about his character there either.
Now, in this version, he also moves to Latium and becomes a Roman god Verbius, because
Wait, Latium? Welcome to Africa. No horses allowed. Verbius?
syncretism, and I think one line in the Iliad makes it seem like he actually married someone, which kind of feels like it subverts the whole premise of the story, really.
I mean, it's a good way to hide.
And here's to you.
So as much as that was actually really fascinating, I just saw what's next in the list. Next up, we're going to check out Aphrodite. So this definitely feels like a lead-in to hermits in general. And frankly, I kind of am here for this because the last time there was a very big name god, it was Bacchus. I keep calling him the Roman name. Why is that? Whatever. Dionysus. And that was a huge way to redefine his character for me, and I'm fascinated. So going into the next one is great. And here we're getting that lead in, seeing about the Theogony, how she was created. Now we get to see a bit of Hippolytus, seeing how he acted here, and generally saw Artemis doing someone a solid. And I'm frankly kind of liking that because a god not fucking someone over is just really unique in most Greek anything, it seems like. And it's just neat to see something different. That said, I just really love the Tam Lin one. It was so freaking cool. I like Fae narratives. It's always fun to hear it just because of the over-creeping menace. Not just under-creeping, but over-creeping, as in the sense that it's like, ha ha ha, now it's crawling all over you. Yes, I'm making a joke about spiders because of the next one, Jorogumo. It's in my mind. I can't get it out. I was actually holding on to it this entire time, realized I had nowhere to say it because the video is about to end, so I'm just putting it out there now. Timing. More importantly, though, and joking aside, I just really like this because I had no idea about anything to do with Hippolytus. I knew very little about Jorogumo, so hearing all that myth was cool. Tam Lin was completely new to me, and Theogony, I did actually know a good bit about that, but it's just really cool to get all the little details I didn't think about and seeing just how horrible every leader of any version of the gods were. They're all so repetitively ignorant about their own flaws, what they literally just led into from the previous generation. It's like they're saying people who don't learn from the past repeat it. If this wasn't something It should have been, because it literally showed that at this time period. I have no idea when that phrase became a thing or if the general concept came later, but it really should have. Basically what I'm saying is if you haven't already, there's a link below to the original videos. Hit them up. I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.